The Society of Actuaries Research Institute, along with our partners at LIMRA, RGA, and TAI, collaborated on a study and analysis of U.S. individual life COVID 19 death claims. Together, we formed an individual life COVID 19 project work group to develop a comparison of all these claims. And we're now to the point where we have helpful information on claims that had been reported through September of 2021. The results are based on data from 32 companies, representing about 72% of the individual life insurance in force in the US industry, and dating in the study from analysis back from 2015 all the way through the current third quarter of 2021. So, Marianne, we've been studying a variety of individual life data from a lot of different angles. Maybe what was the impetus for doing this separate analysis of reported claims to supplement all the other work that's being done by our COVID-19 individual life project group?
Yeah, it's interesting, Dale. So this is a later report we've put out. This is the fifth report that we've put out related to the COVID data collection. And recently there's been a lot of industry press around the impact of COVID claims on individual life insurance and life insurance for group as well. And that has led to requests from reporters. So they've seen the individual life mortality reports on, SOA and other websites, and they're asking about how the excess mortality results translate into claims, because they're hearing earnings reports from individual companies that are talking about claims counts in dollars. So this report uses the data collected for the individual life excess mortality reports, but focuses directly on comparing the reported claims levels at specific points in time, so that we'll have both the excess mortality and the claims perspective coming out from this report.
Yeah, really helpful information. I guess let's dig a little bit deeper into this report. If we look at the volume of all the material, what would you say are some of the key findings that are in the most recent report?
Yeah, so for the claims report, we looked at, again, similar to the excess mortality reports, we looked at the quarters from first quarter 2020 through third quarter 2021. And what we're doing in the reported claims analysis is we're looking at comparisons of reported claims per quarter during this period to the historical average for the same quarters during the period 2017 to 19. So we've got some historical perspective to what we're seeing in 2020 and 2021. And what we saw is that on a count basis, ratios of claims in 2020 and 2021 ranged from a minimum of around 101% of the historical average in the first quarter of 2020, up to a maximum of 125% of the historical average in the fourth quarter of 2020. Now, it's a little trickier to look at the claims on a dollars amount basis, because there's an adjustment that needs to be made for the fact that the amount of claims dollars that are paid out naturally trends upward over time, both because people are buying larger policies with inflation and just because of the aging of the business. This can be a material factor for the individual life insurance business. So we just wanted to make sure the reader understood this when they're hearing claim numbers discussed in the press and then looking at reports like what the SOA is putting out. So for that reason, the figures in the report are shown both with and without the adjustment for trend. So if we look at the reported claim amounts after the adjustment for trend, the ratios for 2020 and 2021 range from a minimum of 99% in the first quarter of 2020 to a maximum of 119% in the fourth quarter of 2020.
Yeah, it's helpful information, and for companies to compare, how their own results are comparing to this aggregate, 15, 20% excess claims in some of those quarters. So I'm sure as the pandemic progresses even further, there'll be more to study. What do you see as our path forward? Do you anticipate providing continued updates on this information as more data becomes available?
Absolutely. So we're planning going forward, as we put out the quarterly updates to excess mortality, that we will include as part of those releases an update on the reported claims analysis. So going forward each quarter, we should have both of those perspectives included in what we publish out to the industry.
Well, Marianne, very, very helpful information, not only for the actuarial profession, but the whole life insurance industry here in the U.S. Thanks for stopping by to discuss this important update that examines all these individual life claims that are happening.
Thanks, Dale. My pleasure.
And for those watching, if you have any feedback or questions about this report, now please feel free to send us a note. Contact us through email at research@soa.org. This report on individual life claims within the U.S. industry stemming from COVID-19 can be found on the SOA website. Simply go to soa.org, click on the Research Institute, and then pull down on COVID-19. You'll see it there among all the variety of reports that we've put out studying the impact of the pandemic. Thanks for joining us today to learn more about these projects from the Society of Actuaries Research Institute.